I will tell you what, parts of this market seem unstoppable, and we need to take a look at the technicals. We'll take a look at the indices to see where exactly we could go from here. SPY, QQQ, IWM, then we'll also take an updated look on NVIDIA, Bitcoin, and Tesla. And if you guys want to see these technicals, you see how well they're playing out, you should also see my technicals available over at the Discord. I have other stocks like Snow, Palantir, Trade Desk, all going up over there. You can check them out right now with those technicals. Interesting things happening in each one. How high are they going to go? Are they going to fall more? Just come on over and check it out. Let's get to the technicals right now so you can see how things have played out, and we can talk about how things could go from here. So for SPY, as we look at this, take a look at the resistance that we hit yesterday. I said we could possibly find that rise up to this line for 577.63. And when you look at that, where did we go? We went to 577.71. So we actually exceeded it by 8 cents. And I would call that pretty darn good in terms of finding out where that resistance was going to happen. Right now in the pre-market, getting a little bit of a rejection off of that value. If we're able to cross that, watch for 581. But there is no shortage of critical resistance that's above to that side. But for right now, RSI looking good. Volumes are a little bit subdued, so we didn't get the volume confirmation on this one. Watch for low trading volumes for further rises that we get, because if you do, that could be evidence of a thinner, less conviction traded market that you see, and then you could end up getting the rug pulled out from under your feet. So just watch for that. It's also noteworthy that we're in a rising wedge formation right now where we could continue upward for a while. However, at some point in time, if we break that bottom trend line, that could be a sign that we're going to have a further fall. So you just need to watch out for that. So for the Qs, when we go over there, you can also see the rising wedge formation that we have. Let me adjust that for you. You can see some of these prices, and you can see I have this really spun out here that you can see the prices in either direction for where we could possibly go. Let's talk about near-term price action. These two previous peaks that you see, now red and green, this is actually fairly critical of a difference in this case from this peak being red and this peak being green, because we went up above this resistance that you can see right across here, right at about 491, well, 491.89, almost 492. We got rejected and we sold off, and then we caught support down here, and then we were able to recover today. Even in the pre-market hours, we're up above that resistance that we had at 491.89. So if we can stay up there, I'll turn this stuff green. As a matter of fact, we'll turn this one green into support for us so that we know that that's a floor for us and not a ceiling. But I'm not going to change this trend line or this resistance line that you see across here until we have a full candle close above it, in which case in time I'll switch it over to support instead of resistance. This green candle was a close above that resistance that you have, whereas over here was a rejection followed by a sell-off. We could possibly see that climb up to 502, but just like what we had for SPY, there's a lot of critical resistance values to the upside on this. So we wouldn't be watchful for those values if we continue that climb, and we're still in that rising wedge pattern that you can see comes to a head eventually out here. As far as what's on here right now, right around Christmas time, we could watch that happen. Maybe this is just a really strong Q4. Maybe the election happens. Maybe something else happens. Maybe more severe weather. We're just going to have to watch and see. We have corporate earnings, by the way, bank earnings, big bank earnings starting tomorrow. That's going to be highly noteworthy for this as well. Expect any amount of volatility leading into those earnings. So maybe today some profits get taken off the table before those earnings take place. We're going to have to watch and see. And what we're looking for the banks is information on the consumer to see how the consumer strength is holding out. Let's move over to IWM, and I have the technicals removed from this just for a moment because you can see how we're riding along the 13, which is this yellow line here for support. This is an exponential moving average. And if we start to dangle off of those moving averages, we start to flip bearish on that one, at least in the near term. What you see down here for the yellow, red, and blue, this yellow one right here is the 200-day, 50-day. Those are both simple moving averages. This red is an exponential moving average. If we sell down through that, watch for the low 200s to catch support for us. For the Russell 2000 stocks, if any of the indices begin to sell off in a big way, the Russell 2000 is probably going to magnify it. So just be on the lookout for that. Be aware of it. And if you check out the technicals that I have on this for near term, look at the way that we got rejected off resistance, and also look at the way that we found support along with the trend lines that are on here. So there's quite a bit, but if we're looking at this in a day-to-day sense, then, well, we can watch and see as those play out. You can also see the rejection we had up here. You can see that we came down near support. So these things have been playing out pretty well. I expect them to keep playing out pretty well. The technicals, since I changed up the way in which I do my technicals, they went from being okay to being really, really solid, that I'm usually within a dollar or so on these index type plays. So here's the prices that you can look at for the Russell 2000 stocks through IWM. And if we go over to NVIDIA, check out the resistance that we got. I thought maybe we were going to be able to make it up above this, but there's that red candle where we closed down below back into this resistance area so far. Not solidly broken, not going to turn it green yet. We need to get over the top value up here, which is right at about, it's just shy of 134 in order to get to the previous peak of 136 and above that up to 140.76. We might have to wait this week out in order to find it. We might find that we have to catch a little bit of support in here down around 130, which yesterday we almost got down to it during the regular trading hours. But keep on the watch. The momentum as we have it for NVIDIA still looking pretty good. Volumes also half decent for that little run that we've gotten as we broke out of the consolidation pattern that I have been reporting on this channel. And this is just a minor, this is just a glimpse right here, just something else that I was checking out for. Is there going to be something? There's no confirmation because you can draw a trend line from any 2 points. You want a third touch and really, in order to really confirm that one, this bottom trend line right here is the big one because that's the one that has all the touches on it. So going over to Tesla with their full self-driving day today, man, they lined themselves up to just teeter at what we have right around this support / resistance area, depending on how you're looking at it. And the pre-market hours were right back up in here into resistance that we've fallen down into. It was support, but now we can't get through it. Now it's resistance for us. And I'll tell you what, like this is exactly where you want to be as you get to that coin flip of a day for the full self-driving robo-taxi day. If we get big news, you're going to watch this thing blast off from where it's at. The RSI has even subdued itself back down near 50 to put us in the middle of bullish or bearish. If it doesn't impress, we get that sell the news event 233. We can probably most certainly watch for if we fall down through this. And because it is a rising wedge pattern that we're in, we could probably see a bit more pain come to that as well if we really do sell off with that news. I would say that 233 number is good. 228, 223, almost 224, and then 216 on the way down if we're going to tumble that way. If we're on the way up instead, we get news to impress today, which hopefully we do as I'm a long-term Tesla investor. 253, 263, 276 on the way up. And if I were to put another price up there, it would be about 282. Guys, you can see these technicals. By the way, you can see them ahead of time over at the Discord before they ever hit YouTube. And like I said, there's other stocks here. I'll talk about Bitcoin real quick, and then I'll get to some of those other stocks. We'll wrap things up for the day. So Bitcoin, got to keep that 60,000 line or keep above it. Either way, we're shaping up to what could be a double bottom if we're able to rip back up through this support. And that could be very bullish for us for Bitcoin. So if the markets continue to rally, they rip, and we continue to go risk on, which right now we're down near the 50 SMA. This is something that if we are able to keep that as support, we could see that golden cross finally come back into our graces here for Bitcoin. And then you could see that nice little rise up that we could experience. So just so you know, Snow has got some incredible things going on right now. I have those technicals available over at the Discord. Same thing for Trade Desk technicals available over at the Discord. Palantir technicals available over at the Discord. And big things happening for each of those stocks and more. You guys can see my buys and sells. You can talk to me and my community members by using the link down in the description for Patreon. Click that, sign up, head on over to the Discord and check them all out. If you guys want to learn to do this technical analysis yourself, there's a link down in the description for Stockmo Academy. Sign up using the code word DOCTOR for massive savings. Not only do you get small, easy to digest pieces of technical analysis trading information, but you also get access to a trading strategy that Stockmo and I refer to as the bread recipe. It's his baby. It's one that we both use. And I'll tell you what, there's tons of people who come over there. They love the setup. They love how it signals where the price could appreciate for stocks. So blast off to the upside or drop down through the floor to the downside. And then you guys can decide to trade them from there. And the people who have used that have put out tons of testimonials about the success that they've experienced with that trading strategy. So if you would like access to the bread recipe, trading strategy, and more technical analysis information, use that link down in the description for Stockmo Academy technical analysis trading course. Use the code word DOCTOR when you sign up. And guys, don't forget about that Patreon. Come on over and see those technicals that I've already put out there for you. Thanks for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.